Well. Party people, what's going on with you? How's everything going with y'all this evening? I know you're like, man, we're putting all these videos out today. All right, let me see. I gotta do my thing here to block that sun. Always coming in the back corner there. As the title of this video says, the horse is not dead. And I love the comment that was made by one of the viewers. Hopefully they're a subscriber, because it never tells me who's subscribed and who's not. They don't have no indicator. So if I say a viewer and you're subscribing, I don't say please don't be offended. It always thanks for like, sharing, and commenting. They made a comment, real good comment, about the fact that not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur and everything, and that I'm sort of beating a dead horse because I'm, me talking about it. And I've been told that many a times. Man, just move on from this. Don't talk about this. And there's really only two things to talk about in the notary business. Take somebody's training. Let me sell you something. I mean, that's really what people talk about the most. And what I talk about. Don't just go around paying for everybody's training. Figure out who you are. Step up, And you can take that first part. I mean, or the best way to put it is, one thing is talking about, or the primary talking point in the notary business is, here's another way to make money. You made money that way? Okay, here's another way, and another way, and another way. That's the main thing that's being talked about. The other thing, and please correct me if I'm wrong, how to just be a solid business owner and move forward. And that's what I'm trying to teach people. That's what I'm trying to say. And that can't be just done one time, because there's not a lot of other people who are talking about the stuff that I talk about. There are people who agree with it and disagree. But there's not a lot of talk about the opposite of what everybody's telling you to do for spending all this money, and the reality of this business of how much money you actually can make. Everything out there, well, I won't say everything, I always say that, but a lot of the information that's out there is centered around that once you become a notary and get a stamp, you are just able to make all this money. And they're talking to everybody. Well, again, let me stop saying everybody. They're talking to people who are listening to them as if that person who's listening to them has everything together in their heart and mind to be an entrepreneur. And that's why I recently, primarily started last year and continuing this year, of saying to people, get out the business. You don't really probably belong in the business. And the reason why I say the horse is not dead, because a lot of people think the horse is alive because there's money attached to the horse. There's money attached to people talking about this, talking about that. And there's no money attached to what I talk about. So, and like I said, there's been people from day one that I've been out here telling me, Griff, what you're talking about, man, it's over. Nobody's gonna get help. Nobody's gonna listen to you. You're beating a dead horse. Just move on. And I'm like, okay, so what else is there to talk about? The only other thing there for anybody to talk about is how you're gonna make more money, how you can do this. And that's the thing that a lot of people are looking for. It's like, tell me how much more money I can make. And the thing is, a lot of people don't get the phone calls that I get. And a lot of people are very mature out here, very wise, very astute, and they would never fall for any of the stuff that's being put out there. And sometimes people feel that, well, if I wouldn't fall for it, how are you falling for it? You should know better. And what we know in life is that not everybody knows better, because if they did, we wouldn't have so many people struggling with how to notarize a document when their state laws and their handbooks and all that stuff, which contain the state laws, shows them how to do it. We wouldn't have these conversations if they just listened to some of the basic stuff that I share on my channel on how to notarize documents. They will be straight. But a lot of people just don't get it, and it takes them a while. That's why you hear people constantly over and over and over marketing, buy my course, you can make this money, you can make that money. And they push that because that's something that hits a person's sweet spot. And they're like, well, okay, then I can make that money, and the person doesn't give thought about it. They don't think in reality about it. And all I'm trying to do is help people think within reality. That's why you don't hear me talking about what money can you make, how you, all these different avenues of making money, because if you can't just get up and just go out here and do the basic notary work, there's no way you're going to be able to take on 13 streams of income. And that seems to be the magic number. And I'm just saying, I'm just using it as a metaphor, you know, magic number. That seems to be like two things I see: $10,000 a month and 13 streams of income. That's what I keep hearing people talking about. Yeah, I got 13 streams of income. Most people can't even manage their basic household. How are you going to handle 13 streams of income? 13 streams of income means you got a whole bunch of people who you are managing and all that, and you can barely manage yourself. You can barely manage your kids. You can just, you can't even do stuff at work right. But because somebody told you this is how you can make money and be a boss and be this, that, and the other. And that's why I say, you know, stay in the W-2 world. But in my opinion, the horse that I'm riding is not dead. It's alive and kicking. And see, the crazy part is, when you have folk out there, and there's a lot of others out there who are quote unquote sounding the alarm, trying to bring awareness, people think that what you're saying is mute. It doesn't make it, because they don't instantly see it. They don't see what is, but there are so many of y'all who do see it. And if you read the comments, you'll see that, oh, it is going on. That person learned this, they're acknowledging that. That's why I always ask y'all to comment. So if I'm saying something that's relevant in my video and you identify with it or you've seen it, please make a comment so people will know, okay, Griff ain't talking out the side of his neck. I know I'm not. You know I'm not. But I get that some people are like, okay, Griff, come up with a new message. Say something different. If I can get people to stop being scared, then I can move forward. There's so much that I could teach and help people out with. That's why I started the channel membership, because those people aren't operating in fear. They're like, I'm going to do this thing. Okay, cool. Let's get together. Let's make something happen. And they're making it happen. My man Claude out there, Ada, Joe Haskins, who else? Jessica. I mean, there's so many of them. Donna out there in, I think, Missouri, somewhere like that. I keep forgetting what she is. But Angela up there in Maryland. There's so many. Then the ones out in Florida. I mean, there's so many people who are apprentices out there in California. There's so many notaries who are actually moving forward in this business because they've gotten over the fear. And they've made a decision that, okay, I'm going to do this thing. Even if I got to do it somewhat scared, I'm going to do it. So to me, the horse is not dead. The horse is not dead because there's still people out there saying things, promoting things that have people in the wrong mindset, in the wrong thought process. I guess that's the same thing. As, you know, when it comes to this business and just business in general. And they're not getting questions answered, you know. So when I do the videos, I address the stuff that people say that is most concerning to them, that they won't ask publicly and that they can't get an answer to. And then I try to motivate and encourage. There's not too many people out here motivating and encouraging notaries. I know people do the Wellness Wednesday stuff and the meditation and all of that, but it still doesn't sometimes address that thing that's stopping you from moving forward. It doesn't really address that. It's just sometimes just a superficial motivation, but it doesn't really dig deep into the things that you are allowing to block you. The only thing I see constantly is just buy this course, you learn something, you'll do something, and you can make a whole bunch of money. But there's so many different things that are interfering. And I applaud the ones who have themselves together, would never fall for anything, would never pay for this, that, and the other, because they're the type of person. I get that. I get that, and I applaud you. But I'm telling you, And I don't know if you how much you communicate with people, but I'm telling you, there are people out here who are straight struggling. There are people who done paid $3,000, $4,000 to $6,000 to get in this business because that's what they was told. And this is why I always ask y'all to like the videos, share it, so the videos can get out there more, so people can start seeing the stuff that I'm sharing with them, so they don't make those mistakes. Because people call me up and say, man, I wish I had seen your video first. I would have never spent that. I'm trying to explain to my wife, trying to justify why I had to spend all this money on all this equipment and everything. And now I'm finding out I really didn't need to do that to get started. And so many people start from behind. I mean, honestly, if you feel that based off of the stuff before you heard my videos and the stuff I talk, that you feel, oops, I almost missed my turn. And I knew it. I looked at it a while back and I was like, ow. If you feel that after doing everything that people told you to do, that you're running behind, comment about that. Comment about that. Share a little bit about your story. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, I know. Exit 2, there it is. Oh, I could have went the other way. Because I hear the stories. People are like, and there's folk who are finally coming along after a year or two, and they're like, I didn't have to spend all that money to get started in this business. All I needed was my journal, my stamp, printer, scanner, and I could have been making money. I spun my wheels. So to me, the horse is not dead. It's alive and kicking. And see, what's crazy is that people are like, oh man, that horse is dead, man. And then when the horse gets up, and you're like, whoa, Nelly, what the heck is going on here? I thought you, nah, it was just playing possum on you. A horse playing possum. If you look at the real estate market, there's a guy that I look at named Orlando Minor. He's been sharing with people for 8 to 12 months. Condos in Florida going to take a hit. And now they're taking a hit. And people, nah, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm going to link the video in the description or the pinned comments. I'm getting better at that, y'all. Saying that I'm going to put a video in there and actually doing that. I'm getting better at it. See, I'm getting better. And listening to his last couple of videos where he's like, I told y'all, this is what's going on. Well, because it ain't happening now, because I don't see this as a problem. I don't see the issues. You don't know what you're talking about. And I understand there's some Missouri people in here, the show me state. But you got to realize when you really look at everything, okay, there's a problem. And when I see somebody talking, constantly teaching people, oh, all you need to do is just make sure you understand the documents and save the closing and make sure you know how to articulate this, that, and the other. But that person doesn't know how to notarize the signatures. They don't understand notarial language. That's a recipe for disaster. You can see it coming. I'm like, oh man, this is about to hit hard. But until it hits hard, you don't believe. And sometimes, until things touch you, a lot of times people, they just won't. They just won't. Oh man! Don't tell me. I've been talking all this day. Okay, sorry about that. I had realized that my microphone wasn't on, and I wasn't sure if the phone was picking up. So I had to stop the video and everything. But back to what I was saying. Sometimes until something touch you or somebody you know or love and care about, you won't believe that can happen. You won't believe it. And I get that. So I'm not trying to convince anybody who has that thought process. You need to I get it. I'm here to try to help the people who are clearly stuck and not moving forward. So I know I'm dealing with a small niche group of people. And once those people figure out, okay, cool. And then they go, and the reason why, because there are more and more people constantly trying to sell and promote this notary business above and beyond what it actually is. And more people are being laid off. More people are struggling and dealing with all kinds of financial issues, and they're looking for something. So therefore, they come into the notary world thinking this is the quote unquote magic pill. This is the thing that's going to pop for them and work. And I'm like, all right, cool. You want to believe that? That's fine. But let me share with you the real deal. Because let's just be real. Not a lot of people are really sharing the real deal. They're not saying anything. They're just like, come in, get a stamp, maybe have a journal, maybe not, and do your thing. And it's like, okay. And then you got the person, and y'all know it. Within 6 months of them becoming a notary, now I can teach you too. And I'm like, ooh, that's a nice curve. I'm like, So me understanding things the way I do, I just can't sit here and let people come out here and bamboozle folk. They got bamboozled. They got taken to the cleaners. And now they're trying to take somebody to the cleaners to recoup what they spent in this business. And when I first got out here on YouTube, there were so many people that called me up and told me, they said, well, look, I'm just trying to get my money back and I'm getting out of this thing. They know that the business can work, but they didn't realize they would have to do so much work. So they're like, man, I spent all this money to get into this thing. All I'm trying to do is break even. Because some of them got money that way. Some of them went out here and spent money that they had to convince their spouse to let them do, not pay a mortgage, not pay a couple of car payments, stuff like that, because they had the thought that they was going to make this $10,000, $20,000, and it never materialized. So now they're like, okay, I got to get their money. And they're trying to at least break even. And that's what people told me. And if you know people that's like that, you know, say so in the chat. There were people that are like, all I'm trying to do break even, then I'm letting this go. Long as I make my money back for what I put in it, I'm good. That's what people was telling me. I'm like, wow. So I get it. And this is why I do what I do. So I understand sometimes it sounds like I'm just saying the same thing over and over and over again. I get it. But a lot of the videos we consume out here is saying the same thing over and over again. Men ain't no good. Women ain't no good. That person ain't no good. Them people ain't no good. They're saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. And we sit there and we do what? We listen to it over and over and over again. So I'm doing nothing no different than what the other YouTubers are doing. I'm doing nothing no different than the people out here who trying to get folk to spend their money on a course, on this, that, or the other. That's the thing. That's what it is. Have something you believe in and keep saying that message. Even though people may not believe it, even though people may not see it at the moment, keep saying that message. That's what people who have a religious belief do. He's coming. I don't see nothing. The sky's gonna crack open. I don't see nothing. But you still keep. Nobody says that's a dead horse. And I'm not picking on that person or anything. I'm just saying this is, and I've talked about this before years ago, but I get it. I get it. You know. But when people step up and start taking responsibility for their own success, then there's no need for me to say anything. But as long as I keep getting the phone calls, I need help. Why is it like this? They lied to me. I lost my money. How do I make my money back? Where are the orders at? Where do I sign up? I mean, people taking courses, training courses, and then calling me talking about, okay, where do I need to sign up to get orders? I'm like, they didn't tell you that? No, they didn't tell me nothing. They just told me, they just showed me how to talk about these documents. And then $500 later, that was it, and told me to sign up in their Facebook group or their mentor program. And people are lost. So that's why I do what I do. The horse that I'm riding ain't nowhere near dead. All right, let me get in here and help these people out. Talk to y'all later. Peace.